Is your brain getting older faster than your body? Most people don't realize that cognitive decline can begin as early as their 20s or 30s. Memory lapses, mental fatigue, and lack of creativity often creep in unnoticed. But here's the good news. In this video, you'll discover 16 powerful, science-backed habits that can keep your brain young, sharp, and full of creative energy. Most people assume that brain aging is something that only happens in old age. The truth is, the process begins much earlier, often in your 20s and 30s. Brain cells, or neurons, naturally lose efficiency over time, and the connections between them, called synapses, start to weaken if they are not regularly challenged and stimulated. This gradual decline doesn't always show up immediately, but it quietly shapes the way you think, remember, and create. The consequences are more serious than many realize. Mental fatigue becomes common. Concentration feels harder to maintain. Short-term memory slips, like forgetting where you place your keys or struggling to recall a name, become frequent. Over the long term, unchecked brain aging increases the risk of cognitive decline and, in severe cases, dementia. According to the World Health Organization, more than 55 million people worldwide live with dementia today, and this number is expected to rise sharply in the coming decades. That means brain health isn't just a personal issue, it's a global challenge. Yet science offers a hopeful message. Researchers at Harvard University have found that adopting simple but consistent habits, like mental exercise, physical activity, and mindful rest, can slow brain aging by up to 10 years. That's a full decade of sharper memory, stronger focus, and higher resilience. The human brain is remarkably adaptable, a quality known as neuroplasticity. It can grow new neural pathways, strengthen old ones, and even repair itself when given the right environment and stimulation. So why does this matter for you right now? Because whether you are 18 or 45, your brain is aging each day. Every choice you make, what you eat, how you sleep, the activities you engage in, either accelerates that process or slows it down. Most people go through life without realizing that their daily habits are quietly shaping their future brain health. The good news is that you have far more control than you think. You can train your brain to stay youthful, creative, and sharp, just like training your body at the gym. Later in this video, we'll uncover 16 powerful habits backed by science that will not only protect your brain, but also help it thrive. We often think of the brain as something fixed, an organ that simply performs tasks like learning, working, or remembering. But science paints a very different picture. The brain is more like a muscle. The more you use it in new and challenging ways, the stronger it becomes. And if you don't, just like an unused muscle, it begins to weaken. One of the biggest misconceptions people hold is that working or studying is enough to keep the brain healthy. Yes, those activities provide some stimulation, but they are usually repetitive and predictable. Doing the same type of work every day is like lifting the same lightweight dumbbell for years. It doesn't create growth. The brain craves variety, challenge, and novelty to form new neural connections and strengthen existing ones. Without this, the pathways grow weaker, and mental sharpness begins to fade. Think about it. When was the last time you truly pushed your brain outside of its comfort zone? For many, it might have been years. Yet, simple changes can make a huge difference. For example, learning a new language forces your brain to form fresh patterns of understanding. Playing a musical instrument stimulates coordination between multiple regions of the brain: auditory, motor, and emotional. Even small changes, like brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand or taking a different route to work, can wake up the brain by breaking old routines and forcing new connections. This is the turning point in perspective. Keeping your brain young is not about stopping aging. You cannot freeze time. Instead, it is about training your mind every single day, just like you would train your body at the gym. A healthy brain requires intentional exercise, stretching it, challenging it, and exposing it to new experiences. When you see the brain as a living, adaptable system rather than a static organ, everything changes. You stop accepting decline as inevitable and start recognizing that you can actively shape the way your brain functions, no matter your age. So, the first mindset shift is simple but powerful. The brain is like a muscle. Use it or lose it. With this new perspective, the habits you choose are no longer optional. They become the essential daily workouts that determine the strength and youth of your mind. The brain is not preserved by chance. It stays young when it is challenged, rested, nourished, and used with intention. Below are 16 science-backed habits, grouped into 4 categories, each designed to keep your brain sharp, flexible, and youthful. 1. Habits of challenge and training. Use your other hand. When you brush your teeth, open a door, or eat with your non-dominant hand, your brain is forced to form new neural connections. Neuroscience shows that novel motor activities stimulate brain plasticity. At first, it feels awkward, but that discomfort is the signal that your brain is learning. Try it tomorrow morning. Switch hands for one daily task. Do one hard thing every day. Growth lives outside of comfort. Whether it's a cold shower, speaking in English when you feel nervous, or waking up earlier, doing something difficult forces the brain to adapt. Psychologists call this stress inoculation. Small doses of challenge build resilience. Pick one daily challenge and embrace the short-term discomfort. Do something new you're bad at. Adults often avoid activities they cannot master immediately. But struggling through failure is exactly how the brain grows. Learn a musical instrument, sketch, or try coding. Research shows new skills activate multiple brain regions, keeping neural pathways flexible. The goal isn't perfection, it's stimulation. Play strategy games. Unlike endless scrolling, games like chess, Sudoku, or even complex board games push the brain to plan, predict, and analyze. MRI studies reveal that such games strengthen the prefrontal cortex, the center of decision-making. Dedicate 20 minutes a few times a week to strategic play. Memorize a poem or song weekly. Memory is like a muscle. Without training, it weakens. By memorizing even a short stanza or chorus, you strengthen recall, focus, and concentration. Ancient scholars trained their minds this way for centuries. Try reciting a short verse before bed. It will sharpen both memory and creativity. 2. Habits of environment and lifestyle change. Stay away from screens daily. Constant stimulation from phones weakens attention spans. Studies show that even short digital detox periods improve focus and reduce mental fatigue. Begin with 30 minutes of screen-free time daily. No phone, no TV, no notifications. Let your mind settle. Sleep in a dark, silent room. Deep sleep is when the brain cleanses toxins and consolidates memory. Even small amounts of light or noise disrupt this process. Blackout curtains, earplugs, or a sleep mask can dramatically improve quality of rest. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of undisturbed sleep. Walk alone in nature without your phone. Nature reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, and restores mental clarity. A Stanford study found walking in green spaces boosts creativity by 60%. Leave your phone at home, take a 20-minute walk, and allow silence to reset your thoughts. Change your daily routine often. Routines save energy, but they also make the brain lazy. Breaking patterns, like commuting differently, rearranging your workspace, or eating new foods, forces adaptation. These small disruptions keep the brain alert and flexible. Try changing one habit every week. 3. Habits of deep thinking and reflection. Read something that challenges your thinking. Confirmation bias keeps the brain stagnant. Reading material that opposes your beliefs or covers unfamiliar subjects stimulates critical thinking. Choose one book, article, or essay that makes you uncomfortable. It's fuel for mental growth. Try to remember without checking. Every time you rush to Google something, you rob your brain of recall training. Next time, pause, close your eyes, and try to retrieve the information before searching. This strengthens memory circuits and builds patience. Talk deeply, not just small talk. Shallow conversations don't engage the brain, but deep discussions about values, dreams, fears activate emotional and intellectual processing. They nurture empathy and strengthen cognitive flexibility. This week, ask someone an open-ended question and really listen. Use brainwriting instead of brainstorming. In brainstorming, quick talk often produces shallow ideas. Brainwriting writing silently before sharing, forces deeper thought and reduces group pressure. This method helps the brain generate more original, creative solutions. Next meeting, try 5 minutes of quiet writing before discussion. 4. Habits of biology and body-brain connection. Practice intermittent fasting. When the body is not digesting constantly, the brain produces more BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which supports learning and memory. Fasting for 12 to 14 hours once or twice a week can sharpen focus and mental clarity. Start by skipping late-night snacks. Take cold showers. Cold exposure shocks the nervous system, increasing alertness and resilience. Research shows it activates norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter tied to focus and mood regulation. Even 30 seconds under cold water can energize both body and brain. Discipline through discomfort. The brain ages fastest when life is too easy. Deliberately embracing discomfort, whether exercise, learning, or discipline, teaches the brain to adapt. Every challenge is like a workout session for the mind, keeping it young and strong. The key insight: these 16 habits are not extraordinary. They are simple, daily practices. But together, they train the brain the way athletes train their bodies. Small, consistent challenges create a resilient, sharp, and youthful mind, no matter your age. When we step back and look at the habits we've explored, 5 core lessons stand out. Principles that are simple to remember, but powerful enough to reshape the way you live and think. 1. Brain health equals daily training, not luck. A sharp brain is not the result of good genetics or luck. It is the result of consistent training. Just as athletes strengthen their muscles through repeated workouts, you keep your brain young by exercising it daily. Reading something challenging, memorizing a verse, or switching hands while brushing your teeth may feel small, but those small challenges compound over time. Think of your brain as a tool. The more often you sharpen it, the longer it stays effective. 2. Discomfort equals growth. Your brain will not grow inside your comfort zone. Growth requires friction. Whether it's learning a new skill, facing public speaking fears, or taking a cold shower, discomfort signals that your brain is being stretched. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and rewire when confronted with difficulty. So the next time you feel awkward or frustrated while trying something new, recognize it as evidence of growth, not failure. 3. Small routines create massive impact. Youthful brains are not preserved by occasional big efforts. They're shaped by small, repeated habits. Memorizing 1 poem per week seems trivial, but over a year, that's 52 new pieces of knowledge. Walking in nature for 20 minutes a day might feel insignificant, but over time, it lowers stress hormones and protects your brain's memory centers. Great transformations come from small, repeated actions that accumulate silently until the results are undeniable. 4. Body and brain are one system. We often separate mental health from physical health, but science shows they are inseparable. Poor sleep, bad nutrition, or lack of movement ages your brain as quickly as it ages your body. Deep sleep clears toxins from the brain. Exercise increases blood flow and oxygen, fueling sharper thinking. Even simple habits like fasting or eating whole foods give the brain the energy it needs to thrive. To keep your brain young, you must also care for your body. 5. Consistency, intensity. It's not the intensity of your effort that matters most, but the consistency. 1 week of perfect focus followed by months of neglect won't keep your brain young. But 10 minutes of deep thinking every day will. The brain loves rhythm and repetition. It thrives on the stability of daily rituals. Choose habits you can sustain, even if they are small, because persistence builds far greater results than bursts of intensity. In short, your brain is like a garden. If you water it daily with small, consistent actions, it will flourish. Ignore it, and weeds of decline will take over. We often think of brain aging as something that only happens to the elderly, but the reality is very different. Forgetfulness, chronic stress, and even burnout are now showing up earlier and earlier, sometimes in people still in their 20s or 30s. The modern lifestyle, filled with constant notifications, endless scrolling, and information overload, is accelerating the decline of mental clarity. In many ways, Our brains are being pushed to age faster than our bodies. Science has begun to uncover just how fragile and yet how adaptable the brain truly is. For example, a Stanford study found that practicing meditation for just 15 minutes a day can reduce stress levels by 40%. Stress, when left unchecked, is one of the most powerful accelerators of brain aging, damaging memory and reducing focus. Meditation, mindfulness, and other calming practices don't just relax you in the moment. They actually protect the long-term health of your brain. Another striking discovery comes from Harvard research, which shows that learning a new language can increase neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form and strengthen new connections, by up to 30%. This is not limited to young students. Adults of all ages can benefit. Every time you expose your brain to something unfamiliar and demanding, you give it the gift of renewal. You literally keep it young. The global message is clear. In the age of technology, where distractions are endless and stress is constant, keeping your brain young is not just a luxury. It is a survival skill. A sharp, resilient mind allows you to adapt to change, stay creative in your career, build stronger relationships, and maintain emotional balance in an unpredictable world. And here's something important to remember. This is not only about adding years to your life, but about adding life to your years. Imagine approaching every day with the clarity, energy, and creativity of someone 10 years younger. Imagine how much more you could achieve, how much deeper your relationships could be, and how much richer your experiences would feel if your brain stayed vibrant. So here's the question. If your brain could stay young forever, how much more could you achieve in life? The habits we choose today determine not just the quality of our future, but the sharpness of every moment we live right now. Your brain does not grow old simply because the calendar moves forward. It grows old when it is no longer challenged, when it repeats the same patterns day after day without stimulation. The opposite is also true. A brain that is constantly trained, stretched, and exposed to new experiences can remain vibrant and youthful no matter your age. Youthfulness is not only a condition of the body, it is a reflection of how you treat and train your mind. The message of this lesson is simple but powerful. A young brain is not an accident, nor is it a privilege reserved for the few. It is a daily practice. The choices you make every single day, whether to pick up your phone or a book, to repeat old routines, or to try something new, to let stress consume you, or to reset with meditation, determine the future of your mind. So here is your challenge. Do not try to master all 16 habits at once. That will only overwhelm you. Instead, pick just one habit and begin today. Maybe it's memorizing a poem this week. Maybe it's turning off your phone for 30 minutes each evening. Maybe it's taking that cold shower tomorrow morning. Small actions, repeated consistently, are what create lasting change. Take a pen and write down the one habit you commit to trying this week. Place it somewhere you will see every day. Remind yourself that you're not just practicing a habit. You are building a younger, stronger, sharper brain. And let this final thought stay with you. A young brain is not given, it is created. Train your brain, and you extend not just your years, but your life.